Hello there, my name is Richie. I'm the founder of Okia Surfing, and this is one of the most important classes I've ever made. This is weight forward as a fundamental concept in surfing, and then how weight forward equals balance and equals speed. The more weight you put on the front foot, the more balance you're gonna feel, and the more speed you're gonna feel. This is the reason why professional surfers are able to go fast and feel balance at the same time, and then why every single intermediate goes slow and feels like they're struggling through turns. If this is true, then the only way to surf good is to put the weight on the front foot, because that's how you're gonna feel balanced and that's how you're gonna feel more comfortable. The idea is I want you to feel comfortable while you're surfing, changing rails. This is a class that is designed for professional surfers on tour and beginners. Anyone can see this class and learn, and that's one of the biggest signs that this is a fundamental concept, which means that is the backbone of the sport of surfing. What is the purpose of this test? This is one of the most important lessons that I do, and this is how I introduce weight distribution forward as a fundamental concept. This is how I prove to people that you have to have your weight forward when you surf, no matter who you are. The only way to surf good is to surf fast, basically. Most people believe that surfing is a back-footed sport. Pros on tour, intermediates, and beginners, everybody believes that is a back-footed sport. If you type it in on Google, this is the answer that is going to come up, that you should carve, you should generate speed, you should do everything on top of your back foot, you should pivot, and then there's weird transfer of weight concepts. Nobody has an outline. Everybody's saying that, oh, you should transfer your weight here. Nobody's able to ever had an outline on how to use your weight when you're surfing. Okia Surfing is the first that is able to show you the real outline on how it works. But first, I need to demonstrate to you how weight distribution works. This misconception that professional surfers talk about massively caps progression for everybody in the sport. Pro surfers go out there and say, I did that carve with weight on the back foot, and massively mess up everybody. Because if this is not true, and then it's a subconscious thing that they surf with the weight on the front foot, and then they put the weight, they say that the weight's on the back, then this is just gonna um, confuse everybody, but then like you can do things right and then not necessarily be aware of them and then able to explain exactly how you're doing things. Professional surfers surf subconsciously, and then they try to explain things, and then sometimes the explanation is not accurate to what they do, basically. This balance test exposes how the concept of having the weight on the back stops the progression of everybody in the sport of surfing. The balance test proves the opposite. The best surfers in the world are front footed at all times, and that's what I'm going to try to demonstrate. Most of these surfers are completely unaware of the very concept that makes it really successful. The common belief is backwards. So, professional surfers are front footed and they believe they're back footed. This can also affect them because sometimes when they go conscious in a wave and they're trying to push harder, they do it with the foot that actually takes the benefits of what they're doing, and then that, like they end up wiping out when they try to push harder. So this helps professional surfers because it helps them be more accurate in the way that they express more power in moments where they become conscious, and also helps the beginner surfer because the beginner surfer needs to know how to generate balance, and then the only way to generate balance is to basically be on top of the front foot. The balance test also demonstrates that the weight distribution forward is a fundamental concept, meaning is the backbone of the sport, and mastering this easy concept is the way of mastering the sport of surfing. Now, fundamental doesn't mean that it's something that is easy that everybody already knows. Fundamental means backbone. Backbone is, it means that it's the most important area of the sport. Why is it the most important area? We all know what is the um, what are the areas that they score in surfing, which is speed, power, and flow. And they're all a byproduct of rail engagement, which is all a byproduct of weight distribution forward. So weight distribution is the currency in the sport of surfing, no matter the level you are. Surfing is a front-footed sport, and that's what we're going to demonstrate right here. So weight distribution according to balance test. What I'm about to show you is one of the coolest classes and probably the most important concept that you're gonna learn in your surfing life. right? This is something that nobody knows, the most powerful concept in the sport of surfing, broken down in powerful super mathematical equations. Wave forward equals balance. That's what I'm trying to demonstrate. So that if you know that, that means that if you put your wave forward, you're not gonna fall while you're surfing. Also, the more wave forward you have, the more balance you're gonna feel, which is something that I'm gonna demonstrate through that balance test. So that means that the more wave forward you express, then you're gonna feel more stable. So it's an equation that works like that. It's really cool, and it's just like gravity. So I'm gonna demonstrate these equations are true, and then you're gonna be able to use this no matter who you are to improve your surfing. Wave forward equals more speed. That's something that's just very obvious, like the more weight you put on the front foot, the faster you're gonna go. So wave forward equals more speed. That's also true. So that means that balance and speed are completely related. The faster you go, the more balance you feel. That's where I want to go with this. The only way to surf good and to surf easy and to surf stable is to go fast. And then if we're shying away of going fast, we're putting our weight on the back foot and then also feeling unbalanced at the same time. So that's what I'm trying to demonstrate here. And if this is true, this is one of the most powerful concepts in surfing and probably the most important class ever given in surfing, because that demonstrates that the backbone of the sport is something that's really easy to demonstrate, basically. So here it is. This is the video that's gonna demonstrate that balance test with two of the kids that I coach. These are really good young surfers. One of them is an avid competitor, is a really good young surfer, and then this is how we started his coaching process. Do the balance test again. Like I wanted Gray to try it on you so he could experience, like what it is to push and then the difference in balance, because like it's also important for him to see it. We're gonna just do a few tests right here, and then like Gray, this is really important for you right now because you're gonna be able to feel that balance, okay? And then we're just gonna talk about that equation one more time, all right? Okay, so like you're gonna do the ISA posture, and then you're gonna put some weight on the back, Sloan, okay? And then you're gonna push him from the front shoulder. Okay, now we're gonna do another test. And now you're gonna try to push him from side to side. How much easier was to push him on the back shoulder?
Way easier. Like
How much easier? Like you would say percentage?
probably like 100% easier.
Because last time you were the one being pushed.
Yeah.
So do you feel?
Yeah, so this is an important concept because like I want you to tell me what weight distribution forward gives you apart from balance.
I mean, just like stability, balance.
Balance and stability, and one more thing. Speed. Doesn't it make sense that you go faster when you like put your weight forward? Right?
Yeah.
Right? Like now, what does the back foot weight gives you?
It slows you down and less balance.
Went on a trip to Indo and started hanging out with Dingo Morrison. And it was one of my really good friends, yours too, but he showed me a photo of Andy and the way he was taking off on a wave with, because my problem was making it down the face and just eating shit every time. But he showed me this photo, he's like, this is how you have to take off. And now I watched Dingo surf on this trip, and I studied this photo of Andy, and all it was I was taking off So I'm goofy foot. I was taking off like this sideways, like my board's going this way, and I'm going pretty much parallel with my board. All I had to do was turn my shoulder over and push my weight forward down the face, like put a lot of pressure on your front foot, and that changed my entire life. Next year got sponsored, started surfing pipe, like way better, chopes way better, all just because I got a little bit of information.
After this, it's really easy to see how way forward and balance are related, and how balance and speed are related. So the more speed, the more balance, and the more balance, the more speed. The more weight forward, the more speed and balance. So the only thing that you need to focus on is having your weight forward, and then that's gonna massively improve your surfing, because you're gonna surf with speed, and if you surf with speed, you are not gonna fall. So this is a little bit of like it's a little bit of like a cognitive dissonance, because going fast feels like the most unsafe way of surfing, but going fast is also how these professional surfers are able to not fall. It's completely related. How are these pro surfers going Mach 1 really fast all the time? It's because they have their way forward all the time, and having their way forward allows them to surf fast and with balance. And then that's the feedback that they're getting off their board. They push on the front foot, and then the feedback, it pushes back balance, stability, and then also they have speed. Again, professional surfers are not aware of this concept, right? But when you learn it from the start, I've seen beautiful things happening. Like, I've coached some of the best young surfers in the world, top 10 in the world, like USA team. There's a lot of testimonials in this website. What I'm trying to demonstrate is that way forward is a fundamental concept. And then if you want to learn more, just follow, subscribe, and this is just really massively going to improve your surfing. So these are the conclusions of the balance test. You cannot surf good and experience balance without surfing fast. The only way to not fall is while leaning forward. So if you want to experience more balance and stability, just lean forward, put your weight on the front foot. That's why way forward is a fundamental concept in surfing. Fact number 2, you cannot feel balance if you're not going fast. Again, like, I know that there's a little bit of redundancy, but I want to explain this in as many different ways as possible, so it just makes sense for you that, surfing is like snowboarding. The more way forward, the more balance. You have to lean forward in order to feel stable. Fact number 3, if speed is the currency in surfing, remember speed, power, and flow. And if speed and power and flow are byproducts of weight distribution, then weight distribution is the currency in the sport of surfing. Boom. That is one of the biggest, that should be like one of the golden tips that I've ever given someone. Weight distribution is the currency in the sport of surfing, because everything is a byproduct of weight distribution. If speed is a byproduct of weight distribution, power is a byproduct of rail engagement, which is a byproduct of weight distribution, and the only way to change rails easily is while using way forward effectively. Everything is a byproduct of weight distribution, and we can say weight distribution, the person that knows weight distribution the best is the person that is best at surfing. Fact number 4, if speed, power, and flow and balance are byproduct of weight distribution, then that means that weight distribution is a fundamental concept. That means that weight distribution is the backbone of the sport. If you qualify surfing by speed, power, and flow, and all of them are byproduct of weight distribution, then that means that the fundamental core of surfing is how you generate those, how you generate speed, how you generate power, how you generate flow, all through weight distribution. That makes weight distribution the fundamental that you don't miss. And if balance is generated with weight distribution, that makes weight distribution one of the biggest priorities that you need to understand in order to get better at surfing. If you want to control your board effectively, go fast, no fall, you need to master weight distribution forward, right? I know that this is different to what has been taught in the past by everybody, but again, everybody thinks that the weight goes back. Every single core lord, everybody just thinks, oh, the weight's back, the weight's back, the weight's back. And then how many actual successful surfers exist in time right now? 98% of the surfers in the world don't succeed at turns. They succeed at one turn accidentally, and then the next turn they mess it up, and they don't like to admit it. 98% of the surfers in the world, they're below the fundamental level, and then You know, you can get barreled, you can catch a huge wave, you can do many things, but like you can start seeing the surfer's success by how they perform turns and then how they generate their own speed. That's how you really measure how good of a surfer is. Not, you know, you can take a off on a big wave and that comes with experience, but knowing how to control your board is different. You know, that's a measurement of success. So why do pro surfers surf so fast and they look like they're never gonna fall? Weight distribution is the answer. Back foot weight and front foot weight, you can see it right here. It's really easy to spot. You know, rail engagement versus no rail engagement, you name it. Pro surfers go Mach 1 speed and they look in complete control. And the reason is that speed and control are completely related. The faster you go, the more control you have. Again, I'm just trying to say it in different ways, but the main concept here is weight distribution is the currency in the sport of surfing because speed, power, and flow are currency. Control is a byproduct of speed. The reason is that when you have your weight on the front foot, you go faster at the same time, have more speed. So control is a byproduct of speed. If you wanna have more control, go faster. Have more way forward. I'm trying to prove to you that way forward is a fundamental concept in surfing. Losing control is a byproduct of having your weight in the back foot. So surfers who have back footed weight lose balance while they're going so much slower than pro surfers, right? So this is the thing, you can go from 0 to hero really quickly, and then the only way to do this is to understand that way forward is the fundament that everything goes under. So what means is that everything is a byproduct of weight distribution forward. Like every single currency in surfing is a byproduct of weight distribution forward. Have your way forward on turns, have your way forward on transitions, have your way forward. You'll go fast, you'll feel balance, you'll feel speed. You know, the balance test demonstrated this is one of the best class ever given in surfing, and then I doubt that anyone can decompose surfing like this. You know, like I'm not trying to have you stand up and then do some weird exercise that have no fundament. If you're practicing muscle memory on the ground and then you're practicing back foot weight, you're messing up the whole thing. You know, 98% of the coaches in the world are like giving muscle memory tips on land, and they don't understand that if these don't have a fundamental concept that backs them up, like weight distribution forward, they're just messing your technique. No matter how fancy the video, no matter how fancy the surfer, no matter how fancy the brand, you know, you can pay 12 grand for retreats in Costa Rica, and then they teach you how to surf with the weight on the back foot, and then you're gonna try to blame your progress not going anywhere on something else. Why weight distribution is a fundamental concept. This is the last slide. First, why does this class help both professional surfers and beginners? A pro surfer becomes more conscious and can apply more power to turns and never let a wrong concept affect them. Professional surfers surf better when they're not thinking. They've said it all the time. John Florence says it all the time. When I'm not thinking, I just let it happen. It just happens. That means that they're surfing with the part of the brain that's called subconscious mind. And as soon as they get conscious, they want to push a little bit harder and they push on the back foot. Then it creates a cognitive dissonance, and then they stall on the turn, they pop a wheelie on the turn, you know, they bug a rail, they're gonna try to blame it on something else. So this is why this concept helps a professional surfer to push harder on the moments they want to engage with conscious thought on a wave. A beginner, just by having your way forward, you have more balance, speed, stability. This is the first class that's been designed to help professional surfers on tours and complete beginners, because this is the fundamental core of the sport. A concept that helps every level across the board in a class is a fundamental concept. Through this series of lessons, I'm going to try to demonstrate that why weight distribution is the core of the sport, and then everybody should be learning this. There's not 20 different ways of doing things. There's just one way of doing things right, and then you can go from 0 to hero really quickly. We see a lot of surfers that get so good so quickly. In 2 years, they're doing airs, they're doing so many different things, and it's because like it's easy, and it's a combination of happy little accidents that happen. Professional surfers are way forward, and they explain it to be way back, and they're capping progress for every single surfer in the world. So yeah, I'm very excited to give this lessons to you. This is a gift. When I learned this, I knew that I wanted to dedicate my life to teach this concept and then to change surfing forever. I know and I have my faith that this is what's gonna elevate the sport, this is the next big thing, and then I'm gonna lay out the whole thing for free. Just follow, subscribe, give it a like, share with someone that this might be interesting. I'm gonna demonstrate to you how way forward is a fundamental core of the sport.